नाउ फ्रेंड्स, आज हम आपके सिलेबस का जो दूसरा चैप्टर है सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन इन फ्लावरिंग प्लांट्स, आपका फर्स्ट चैप्टर कंप्लीट हो चुका है जो रिप्रोडक्शन इन ऑर्गेनिज्म है, जिसमें जनरल डिस्कशन है और ए सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन। यू नो सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन इट्स आल्सो कॉल्ड एम्फीमिक्सिस, that is the fusion of two types of gametes, the male gamete and female gametes. Now the asexual reproduction which we have studied, इसको बोलते हैं एसेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन, इसको बोलते हैं एपोगैमी, एपोमिक्सिस, वेयर देयर इज नो मिक्सिस, मतलब नो फर्टिलाइजेशन। तो एसेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन में फर्टिलाइजेशन नहीं होता, इसलिए इसको बोलते हैं एपोमिक्सिस। एपोमिक्सिस एक्सक्लूडिंग, मिक्सिस मीन्स फ्यूजन, जहाँ पे फ्यूजन न हो, फर्टिलाइजेशन न हो। नाउ दोस्तों, इसमें आपको जानते हो जो आप क्लासिफिकेशन करते हो प्लांट किंगडम का, तो प्लांट किंगडम में 5 डिविजन्स होते हैं और सबसे एडवांस जो प्लांट्स हैं, दोज हु प्रोड्यूस फ्लावर फॉर रिप्रोडक्शन, they are angiosperms. Now, जो angiosperms हैं, they produce flower. You know, flower is the very fascinating structure of the living world, very beautiful, and that is famous for its beauty. And according due to the beauty, it has many values. That is having ethical values, religious values, social values. जैसे आप किसी के बर्थडे पे एक फ्लावर बढ़िया सा गिफ्ट देते हो, आप कहते हो इट इज विश यू हैप्पी बर्थडे, तो ये सब वैल्यूज होती है फ्लावर्स के लिए। नाउ प्लांट किंगडम में आप जानते हो लाइफ के 2 स्टेजेस हैं। वन इज द स्पोरोफिटिक स्टेज, और दूसरी स्टेज और यू कैन से फेज, और दूसरा है गैमेटोफिटिक फेज। प्लांट लाइफ में 2 फेज हैं, स्पोरोफिटिक एंड गैमेटोफिटिक। नाउ जैसे जैसे प्लांट्स इवॉल्व हुए, वैसे वैसे स्पोरोफिटिक फेज एडवांस हुई और गैमेटोफिटिक फेज रिड्यूस होती गई। तब देखो, ये स्पोरोफिटिक फेज इज मोस्ट एडवांस in flowering plant. स्पोरोफिटिक फेज फ्लावरिंग प्लांट में सबसे एडवांस है, और अकॉर्डिंगली द गैमेटोफिटिक फेज इज मोस्ट रिड्यूस्ड इन फ्लावरिंग प्लांट। तो इन ड्यू कोर्स ऑफ इवोल्यूशन ऑफ प्लांट, स्पोरोफिटिक फेज गोज ऑन एडवांसिंग, एडवांस होती गई, और गैमेटोफिटिक फेज धीरे धीरे क्या रिड्यूस होती गई। सो मोस्ट रिड्यूस गैमेटोफाइट इज फाउंड इन फ्लावरिंग प्लांट एंड मोस्ट एडवांस स्पोरोफाइटिस प्लांट आर फाउंड इन एंजियोस्पर्म्स। नाउ स्पोरोफिटिक मीन्स 2n, where the cells have 2 sets of chromosomes, diploid cells are there. Gametophytic means n stage, where the cells are haploid, having 1 set of chromosomes. Now, come to sexual reproduction. You know well, sexual reproduction में हमेशा प्लांट लाइफ में किसी स्टेज में मियासिस जरूर होती है। विदाउट मियासिस सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन कैन नॉट बी प्रोसेस्ड। सो व्हेन डज मियासिस अकर? इन फ्लावरिंग प्लांट and not only flowering plant, that is angiosperms. In gymnosperms, in pteridophytes, in bryophytes, the meiosis occur at the time of spore formation. Meiosis occurs at the time of spore formation. So it is called स्पोरिक मियासिस. क्या बोलते हैं इसको? स्पोरिक मियासिस. मतलब मियासिस तब होगी जब ये सारे प्लांट, कौन कौन से, ब्रायोफाइट, टेडोफाइट, एंजियोस्पर्म, जिम्नोस्पर्म, ये सभी प्लांट जब स्पोर बनाएंगे उस समय मियासिस होती है. मियासिस कॉल्ड टू बी व्हाट? स्पोरिक मियासिस. इन एनिमल्स यू नो मियासिस टेक प्लेस एट द टाइम ऑफ गमीट फॉर्मेशन. इसे हम क्या बोलेंगे? इन एनिमल्स द गैमेटिक मियासिस टेक प्लेस. And in two groups of organisms, say algae and fungi, meiosis take place at the time of zygote germination. So this is called what? Zygotic meiosis. So we can conclude कि at the stage of life cycle, when meiosis take place, accordingly meiosis is three type. One is sporic meiosis, that is going on in almost all the division of plant kingdom except algae. In bryophyte, pteridophyte, gymnoangiosperms, meiosis take place at the time of spore formation. Meiosis sporic. In animals, during gamete formation, gametic meiosis. In algae and fungi, zygote when germinate, meiosis take place. It is called what? Zygotic meiosis. Now, you know, the sexual reproduction in flowering plant is performed by the very specific, very fascinating structure that is called to be what? Flower. जितना आप ब्यूटी वर्ल्ड में देखते हो उसमें वन ऑफ द ब्यूटीफुल थिंग इज द फ्लावर. वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. नाउ यू सी, अगर हम पूछें व्हाट इज फ्लावर, व्हाट इज फ्लावर, फ्लावर है क्या? सो फ्लावर इज मॉडिफाइड शूट. फ्लावर एक मॉडिफाइड शूट है और मॉडिफिकेशन है सम पर्पज. तो व्हाट इज मॉडिफाइड शूट? For sexual reproduction. Flower is a modified shoot, and this modification of shoot into flower is for sexual reproduction. It is well adapted for sexual reproduction. It means जो floral parts हैं, floral parts, they are modified leaves. जितने फ्लावर के पार्ट्स हैं आपने पढ़ा होगा, कैलिक्स है, करोला है, इंडूशियम है, गाइनिशियम है, दे आर ऑल मॉडिफाइड लीव्स. ताकि हम देखेंगे कि हाउ दीज आर मॉडिफाइड लीव्स. नाउ यू सी, से अभी आपको हम फ्लावर दिखाएंगे. नाउ दिस इज द प्लांट, very valuable plant, medicinally very important. It is datura. इसको क्यों लिया? क्योंकि इसमें जो फ्लावर के पार्ट्स हैं ये बहुत ज़्यादा एक्सप्रेसिव हैं. इससे आप बहुत आसानी से फ्लावर को समझ सकते हो और डिफरेंट पार्ट में क्या क्या फंक्शन होता है वो भी आप देख सकते हैं. नाउ वन फ्लावर, इट इज इन बड कंडीशन, यू नो, फ्लावर बड. अब देखो इसमें इट इज कवर्ड बाय द ग्रीन स्ट्रक्चर. यू नो द बेसल ग्रीन पार्ट ऑफ द फ्लावर इज कैलिक्स. सो जितना भी आप देख रहे हो ये कैलिक्स है. तो अगर हम पार्ट ऑफ फ्लावर देखें तो आप जानते हो फ्लावर में एक स्टॉक होता है ना, स्टॉक ऑफ फ्लावर, क्या कहते हैं इसको? स्टॉक ऑफ फ्लावर इज कॉल्ड, यस इट इज कॉल्ड पेडिसिल। ठीक है, अगर हम फ्लावर को ऐसे बनाएं इस तरीके से, ये फ्लावर हो गया, ये फ्लावर हो गया, ये फ्लावर हो गया, ये फ्लावर हो गया, सो वेयर इज पेडिसिल? इट इज द यस पेडिसिल। देन व्हाट इज दिस स्ट्रक्चर? See, axis of a particular flower is called what? Pedicel. और आप जानते हो group of flower is called what? Inflorescence. So what this axis of inflorescence is called? It is called peduncle. ये क्या बन गया बच्चों? It is peduncle. So the pedicel is the stalk of individual flower. If pedicel is present in the flower, it is called pedicellate flower. और अगर pedicel नहीं है, suppose flower is like this, it is called what? Sessile flower. Now, अगर हम देखें axis of inflorescence, तब इसको हम क्या बोलते हैं बच्चों? Peduncle बोलते हैं। तो in धतूरा flower you see, this is the small pedicel. हाँ, उसके ऊपर क्या flower parts? Now this quite large green leaf like structure you see, these are just leaf. ठीक है, they are called, you can say the calyx. So इस प्लांट में किसी फ्लावर के स्टॉक को हम बोलते हैं पेडिसिल। Now stalk of flower pedicel is somewhat flattened on the top. ये टॉप के ऊपर कुछ जो ऐसे फ्लैटन हो जाता है ऐसे। नाउ दिस फ्लैटन पार्ट ऑफ ए पेडिसिल, द टर्मिनल पार्ट ऑफ पेडिसिल इज कॉल्ड व्हाट? दैट इज कॉल्ड थैलमस और इट इज कॉल्ड टोरस। ऑन दिस थैलमस different part of the flower which are actually modified leaf, they are present. The first whorl of flower, you know, it is the whorl of green leaves. इसको बोलते हैं क्या? calyx. It is whorl of flower. Now whorl of leaf. Unit is yes, sepal. So what is function of these sepals? You know, sepals are enclosing the whole flower in bud condition and protect the flower in bud condition. Now, the second whorl है, the beauty of flower is mostly due to the second whorl of leaves. That is, you can call it, yes, आप बोल सकते हो, बहुत आसान सा ये नाम है. That is called what? Corolla. Corolla is तो whorl of mostly colored leaf. यूनिट क्या है इसकी? यूनिट इज petal. Now this calyx and corolla, these two parts are non-essential part for the flower. क्या बोलते हैं बच्चों? These two parts are yes non-essential because they are not participating in sexual reproduction. Rather, they are helping in sexual reproduction. Helping means आपने देख लिया कि कैलिक्स क्या करता है, ये फ्लावर को बड कंडीशन में प्रोटेक्ट करता है. क्या करता है करोला? द ब्यूटीफुल कलर्ड लीफ, द पेटल्स, द करोला, इट इज फॉर अट्रैक्शन ऑफ एनिमल्स, इवन ह्यूमन. ये अट्रैक्ट करता है सो दैट द पॉलिनेशन कैन टेक प्लेस. नाउ उसके बाद थर्ड देखो आप, थर्ड पार्ट ऑफ द फ्लावर, थर्ड whorl ऑफ द लीफ, that is what? Stamen, androecium. Androecium, it is yes male sex organ. Androecium is male sex organ and single unit is called as stamen. And the central part of the flower It is also a modified leaf. It is called what? Gynoecium. Gynoecium, Gynoe. Gynoecium, that is female sex organ. So, a flower has the pedicel, flower is called pedicellate. The flattened part of pedicel is torus or thalamus, on which 4 whorls of the leaf are present. The lowermost whorl is of usually green leaves, that is called calyx, unit is sepal. The colored second whorl of leaves, that is corolla, unit is petal. The 2 non-essential part of the plant. But you see, it is the third whorl, endoecium, and fourth whorl is gynoecium. These 2 are essential part of the flower, essential for sexual reproduction. Now you see, unit of endoecium is called stamen, and the unit of gynoecium is called ये pistil. Now you see, अब आप देखो, actually say, now here the flower is going to open. The lowermost part is what? Yes, बोलो. It is calyx. ठीक है, इसको मैं निकाल दिया. अब देखो, this white part is the whorl of petals. अब आप petals को धीरे से निकालिए. This flower is having very clear structure of sexual in nature, you know. Like, now you see, this much structure, you know, you can see it very well. It is attached with petal, you know. This structure is called what? Stem. Stamen is the unit of male sex organ, that is what? Endoecium. So, now you see, देखो बच्चों, अब ये क्या बन गया? ये हो गया यस स्टेमेन. Now stamen has 2 distinct parts. One is the sterile part, what? Filament. ये sterile part. Sterile मतलब non-reproductive. The basal part of the stamen is attached with the thalamus. ये कहाँ होगा बच्चों? ये thalamus पे होगा. Yes. ऐसा कह सकता है कि proximal part is present on the thalamus and terminal part that bear yes anther. Anther is fertile part. ये fertile part, ठीक है. Now आप इसमें देख सकते हैं, हर जो स्टेमेन है वो पेटल से जुड़ा हुआ है ना. Stamen is joined with petals. Now can you see what this condition is called when stamens are attached with the petals? Now stamens attached with petals. Yes, can you see? अगर स्टेमेन पेटल से जुड़ा हुआ है, इसको हम बोलते हैं क्या? ईपी पेटलस कंडीशन. क्या बोलेंगे? ईपी पेटलस condition. So in Datura, which belong to family Solanaceae, the stamens are attached with the petals, epipetalous. Now you see, now you see, yes, see stamens attached with the petals, epipetalous. Now this is the filament. This one is filament, which is sterile part. It holds the anther at its top. Now एंथर फर्टाइल पार्ट है. Now some terms regarding the anthers. Now you see, usually in most of the family, anther has two lobes. So अगर anther जो है has two lobes, it is called dithecous anther. Means anther has, say, the two lobes. But in some family, say Malvaceae, that is the China rose family, the anther is having only one lobe. It is called, yes, monothecous. So you can say, if you observe the anther, usually anthers are having two lobes. It is called dithecous anther. In some family like Malvaceae, the anther has only one lobe. It is called monothecous anther. Now can you say? Anther हो गया, monothecous and dithecous. Dithecous means having two lobes. Monothecous means having only one lobe. Example can be that is given in your book NCERT. That is Malvaceae has the anther monothecous. So remember it. Now, how this anther is attached with the filament? Anther filament से कैसे attached? So anthers of a stamen attached with filament with the help of a specific tissue. Yes, that is connective. Connective, the specific tissue that attached the anther to the filament. It's very simple structure of a stem. Now, if you see the carpel या pistil, attached on the thalamus. If you take a single carpel, एक carpel, so carpel is the unit of, yes, female sex organs. That is what? Yes, the gynoecium. Unit क्या हो गई? Unit is pistil या carpel. Pistil या carpel. Now, this pistil या carpel, it is just representing the single pistil, a single carpel. Now you see, the carpel is distinguished into three parts. Now, see, here in this plant you can see the carpel very well. मतलब total gynoecium you can see very well. Now, if we separate these different parts, you will find the carpel, or you can say gynoecium. The very good structure, very appeasing structure. This is the, say, it is gynoecium. Gynoecium is made up of many carpels. So this is the gynoecium. This is gynoecium. इसमें, in this family, the two carpels are joined to form gynoecium. It is called bicarpellary. Now, a gynoecium has, you can say, a carpel has three distinct parts. The topmost part, means terminal part, is stigma. It receives the pollen grains. So you can say this stigma is the landing site of pollen grain. Pollen grain यहाँ जैसे भी पहुँचे by different agency, the process called pollination, pollen grain land on the stigma. Now style is this is style. Long part, cylindrical usually, and this connect stigma to the ovary. The basal part of carpel is what? Ovary. Now, the whole structure is based on thallus. Now, in the ovary, there is, yes, ovule. Now, when sexual reproduction is completed, you know what is the fate of this ovule? This ovule change into seed. Change into seed. ये seed बनाता है. Then what is the fate of ovary? Ovary produce what? Fruit. Now you see, you have seen large number of fruits in the market. So the ovary is present only in angiospermic plant, which produce what? Fruit. And within the fruit there is ovule. Technically ovule is called, yes, mega sporangium. That is ovule. So when the sexual reproduction is completed, the ovule change into seed and ovary change into fruit, and thus the seeds are enclosed in the fruit ovary. That's why you say the angiospermic plants are producing what? Enclosed seed. Enclosed where? In the fruit. And fruits are produced only by angiospermic plant. No other plant can produce fruit. So whatever fruits you are seeing in the market, that is all angiospermic fruit. Now come to, this was the just general description of a flower, where we can go through the reproduction process. You have seen just right now, in plants the sexual reproduction take place and meiosis occur at the time of gamete formation. So meiosis occur time of spore formation, not gamete formation. So in case of plant, meiosis occur at the time of spore formation, जिसको आप क्या बोलते हो? Yes, sporic meiosis. Now, spores are formed. So, आप जानते हो इस meiosis at the time of spore formation occur in the, you can say, bryophytes also. Bryophytes also. Pteridophytes also. Then gymnosperms, they are producing naked seed, and the angiosperms, which produce seed enclosed in fruit. So meiosis takes place in all these plants at the time of spore formation. But what is difference? What is difference in the meiosis in these plants? You know, total bryophytes are homosporous. Bryophyte, हर bryophyte क्या homosporous? It means it is producing only one type of spore. Huh? It is only one type of spores. So bryophytes are homosporous. But pteridophytes, they are mostly heterosporous. Hetero means what? Different type. So mostly they are homosporous. But some pteridophytes, they are heterosporous. ये भी बहुत important portion है कि most of pteridophytes, they are homosporous, they produce only one type of spore. लेकिन कुछ pteridophytes heterosporous होते हैं, they produce two type of spore. The very important example goes to Sileginella. हाँ, आप जानते हैं इसको? Sileginella, heterosporous. Now you see, what about gymnosperms? इतना सुना क्या? Bryophytes are totally homosporous. They produce only one type of spores. Pteridophytes, they are mostly homosporous, but some are heterosporous. They are both prominent examples. Then what about gymnosperms? You know, gymnosperm and angiosperms are very advanced plant. So the gymnosperms and angiosperms both are heterosporous. Means they produce two type of spores. Of spores. You know बच्चों, आप याद रखना, these spores are produced by meiosis. So heterosporous में one type of spore produces microspores. Other type of spore produces megaspores. This is the characteristic of gymnosperm, angiosperm, and some pteridophytes. Now, where these spores are produced? Now you see, microspores are produced, megaspores are produced. So what this process of production of microspores and megaspores called? That is called, yes, sporogenesis. क्या बोलते हैं इसको? Sporogenesis. Now you see, sporogenesis is characteristic feature of bryophyte, pteridophyte, gymnosperms. Now we come to the sporogenesis in angiosperms. How the sporogenesis take place means how the spores are produced. Now, say we have just studied the two sexual structures, sexual units, the carpel, that is the female sex organ, unit of female sex organ, that is containing what? Ovule. It is the stigma. It is the style. It is the ovary. And ये है एक carpel. Carpel, you know, unit of female sex organ. Then you have studied the anther. It is the stamen. Stamen. The unit of male sex organ. Stamen has, yes, filament. It is sterile part. It is anther. It is the fertile part. Now you see, in the beginning we came to know that these floral parts are modified leaf. So which one leaf is represented by carpel? Which one leaf is represented by stamens? The very important question. ना कौन सी लीफ रिप्रेजेंट करती हैं कार्पेल को, या आप कह सकते हो कार्पेल कौन सी लीफ रिप्रेजेंट करता है और स्टेमेन कौन सी लीफ रिप्रेजेंट करता है. सो यू सी, stamens represent yes microsporophyll और carpel represents megasporophyll. So the two type of sporophylls are there. In the stamens, they represent microsporophyll and carpel represent, yes, megasporophyll. You know, these sporophylls are having sporangia where the spores will develop. इसका मतलब क्या हुआ कि megasporophyll has sporangia, microsporophyll has sporangia. Then which type of sporangia? Megasporophyll has sporangia. It is called megasporangia. क्या बोलते हैं इसको? सॉरी, यस, मेगास्पोरेंजिया. commonly called as ovule. और anther has, yes, microsporangia. So you see, this because of stamen represent microsporophyll, then the microsporophyll has microsporangia in the anther. Now the carpel represents megasporophyll, so carpel has megasporangia in the ovary called ovule, technically called microsporangia. Now you can imagine, you can know well that the spore formation, जिसको हमने क्या कहा था, sporogenesis, that will occur where? In the microsporangia and in the megasporangia. So sexual process, sexual reproduction in angiosperms starts with sporangia to produce what? Spores. That's why because of two type of spores are produced. What two type? One is microsporangia. Produce what? Yes, that produce microspores, commonly called pollen grain. Commonly called pollen grain. Now this microsporangia produce microspore, that is pollen grains, that is called the one part of sexual reproduction, that is the microsporogenesis. So because of angiosperms are heterosporous, producing two types of spores, the microspores are producing microsporangia in the anther. So in the anther, the process of microsporogenesis begins. So in reference to male organ, the sexual reproduction begins with the process of microsporogenesis. Where? In microsporangia. Where? In the anther. And in reference to the female sex organ, the formation of megaspore, the second spore, yes, the megaspore. It is produced in where? Megasporangia. जिसको कॉमनली हम क्या बोलते हैं? ओव्यूल बोलते हैं. इसमें क्या बनेगा? Here the megaspores are produced by process of megasporogenesis. So now we can come to the reproduction sexual. In sexual reproduction में in angiosperms spores are produced. Meiosis is sporic meiosis because of angiosperms are heterosporous, means they produce two types of spores, the microspores and megaspore, and these two processes occur in very definite structure of flower or flower parts. Say microsporangia is found in the anther of, you can say, stamens. So microsporogenesis occur in microsporangia in the anther, and megasporogenesis, that is formation of megaspore, that occur in the megasporangia, that is commonly called ovule. So two processes, that is producing the spores, that are microsporogenesis and megasporogenesis. Now we have to go to the फर्स्ट प्रोसेस. हम इसको रख कर सकते हैं, हाँ. और अब चलेंगे हम फर्स्ट प्रोसेस, दैट इज द फर्स्ट स्टेप ऑफ स्पोरोजेनेसिस. से now it is the anther, anther is only bilobed, that is called dithecus. Mouthcus anthers are found in the Myrmecae family. Now in anther, there is the formation of microsporangia. Okay? And in microsporangia, there is formation of microspores. The process is called microsporogenesis. sporogenesis. So microsporangia is present in the anthers. Microsporogenesis take place in the anther and microspores are produced. Now we can go to the process of microsporogenesis and process of megasporogenesis that will be continue in the next video. Now see students, आप इसको thoroughly पढ़ो, line to line पढ़ो. Say the NCERT you must go line to line. Other book is the Winner's Biology. Winner's Biology.